Ugly loss is right. Welcome in. Bears postgame on CHGO. Presented to you by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. I would just like to start this postgame show by reminding everybody that a player the Bears signed literally on Friday scored all of their points in this game.
Yeah,
all 12.
Congratulations to what's-his-face, Money Badger.
The Money Badger.
The Money Badger.
Michael Badgley, 4 for 4. Way to go, buddy.
I mean, he should have been on the field on that last lateral play just because the only chance of them scoring would have had him somehow involved.
That was the dumbest, most amazing moment in recent Bears history. God, was that
just
absurd.
That last play?
It was just, I mean, I was screaming hits principle, like left and right. I thought they were at least for 1/10 of 1 second, I thought they might score. But
well,
that
I
sucks.
actually got a tiny bit hopeful when the ball somehow ended up back in Justin Fields' hands. But then it looked like he was looking to throw the ball.
Yeah, he was faking him a little. He was deking him.
Oh, he's going to deke him with the second throw on the play?
Well, we know Justin likes to throw it once he's past the line of scrimmage. So
I mean,
he has done it once.
The throw to EQ across the field was like top 5 Fields throw of the day. I mean, really.
I can't even remember 5 throws in the day.
Oh man.
He was better. He reached double-figure completions with 10. He had the most yards that he's had.
11 for 22 was the final.
You got 11 for 22? I got 10 for 21.
Did you count the last play?
I'm reading straight off of ESPN. So
Bears taketh
a
game against the Niners. Bears giveth
there it is.
To the Giants without a quarterback in the fourth quarter.
I mean, that's what really has to pay you, right? Shout out to Lawrence for having the correct throwback Giants logo today.
Yeah, I thought that's my favorite part of the whole day right there.
That's pretty, I mean.
It's nice.
The Giants didn't have a quarterback at the end of the game, and you still couldn't do anything.
From the midway through the third quarter on. I don't remember. When the
that's
hell,
my biggest. That's one of my biggest things. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we're going to talk about Justin Fields because every week for the rest of the season, we're going to talk about Justin Fields. For better or worse, I know fans will get upset because it's an emotional topic, but the coaching staff today really let me down.
So let's start right there. Blame game. Bragg just going coaching staff.
Yeah, because they didn't adjust to the play action rollout the entire first half. Then in the second half, now you all of a sudden have an adjustment to it. Brisker gets a sack. The first time they ran it in the second half, they stop him. He throws it away. How come you can't make that simple adjustment while you're in the thick of it in the first half? Why do you have to go to the halftime tunnel to make that adjustment? And then, as you mentioned, no quarterback in the fourth quarter. They knocked Tyrod Taylor out of the game, and Daniel Jones is out there as a decoy. Why even have him on the field, like you mentioned? If you're just going to run Wildcat, you might as well just have Daniel Jones off the field and just do what you're doing. Instead, you have a decoy standing on the side of the field, so you don't have to account for that player. Like they were saying, dare him to throw it to Daniel Jones. He's limping around out there. Instead, they're running to the opposite side of the field. It should be obvious at that point what they're running, and the Bears still had trouble stopping the run in that regard. So the coaching staff, Matt Eberflus, specifically on defense, I wasn't too thrilled with today.
So you're taking the whole coaching staff. I'd like to Flus, I love you, Flus. I'm still with you, Flus. I still believe in you, Flus, even though I'm seeing all the Brian Dable conversation out there, and having an offensive coach would have been an interesting move for the Bears, especially considering how the offense looks. But I'm not there. But what I am at, dude, 3rd and 2, 3 minutes to go. Don't punt the football. Don't punt. Let's see what the offense does. Let's get creative. Let's go fourth down. Because I just think odds on you were not stopping them, even though it did turn out that way. But still, you had one chance then to stop them. It worked out. Of course, you can put Valus as your blame game if you'd like to, because that's the easiest one, or anybody can. But I philosophy-wise, I did not agree with the choice.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Valus Jones. That's not why they lost the game. They're already down 8 in that
Catch
moment.
the ball,
but
dude.
You got to get some of the blame to the guy. You basically weren't used on offense. You've been hurt. You have one job in this game, which was to catch the returns.
And he muffed a punt in the preseason, too. So
I don't even remember that. I remember Pettis muffing one. But
No, there you can put a blame on Dante Pettis, too.
Didn't catch that ball.
That Dante, I like you, Dante. You got to catch that football, Dante.
Yeah.
Make a play. That's your opportunity. And 1999 Super Chat, Kyler Gordon made so many mistakes today. What can be done about the way he's playing? Kyler Gordon, you're in the blame game.
Yeah, that's a worthy blame game. They went after him again today. He hasn't had a good game yet. He did destroy Tyrod Taylor. I hope he's okay, but that was the biggest moment for Kyler Gordon so far in his career to, take. It was
Probably
a big
could have been
hit.
a penalty, too.
Yeah, it could have
being
been.
honest.
Tyrod's running out of the pocket, but yeah, it was definitely helmet to helmet. But at least there was some physicality there, because outside of that, Kyler Gordon's getting beat like a drum on the outside.
Appreciate your support, Shane Williams.
Yeah, and Jaquan Brisker was definitely part of the blame game when it came to eyes in the backfield, reading your keys, not biting on those play fakes that were killing the Bears early on. This is what happens when you play rookies as much as they are.
Right.
I like Brisker. I like Gordon. A little less certain on Valus Jones, but I do like Valus Jones as a returner, and that's where he killed you today by muffing that punt there at the end.
Well, it wasn't even just the drop. It was the 3 seconds before he even caught the football. I mean, he's so
he tried to catch it on the side. It just really wasn't handled well.
I mean,
at all.
that is
It's not good technique.
First time
When
doing
your
it.
offense isn't doing anything, he's thinking about making a play before the ball gets in his hands, because the offense, is non-existent. Now we're starting to get the run game bottled up. No 286 yards of rushing offense today. They're going to start keying in on that more. And you got to be able to pass the ball. There was some progress in that regard as far as getting the ball downfield through the air. But as you mentioned, to not go for it on fourth down there at the end, punt it away, I just thought was cowardly. I understand Justin Fields has a long way to go, but those are the little moments, just like last week when he chose to take it to the halftime tunnel with 36 seconds left and 3 timeouts. I understand why you're playing it close to the vest. You're trying to win games, but those are those little moments where, A, you're going to help your quarterback have a moment to come through, and B, it is playing to win the game.
Well, it also to that conversation, go back to last week. What you were doing before the end of the first half today was bizarre. You're taking timeouts. You're giving the Giants an extra chance to get a first down.
Yeah, he literally did what Lovie Smith did last week to help the Bears.
Right.
That he didn't take advantage of after Lovie Smith helped the Bears, and then he did it this week by calling timeout on 3rd and short when the Giants seemed content to just run out the clock, and you're getting the ball to start the second half.
Right, and so now you're going to give the ball. You're giving the ball to Fields at the 20-yard line. He ends up getting rolled up on, by the way. Right now, that's also, I don't want to completely judge his his timeouts there because of what happened to Fields, but you just put the quarterback in harm's way again, and there is no consistency to what.
Right.
Because
last week it was 36 seconds and 3 timeouts, and you chose to go to the tunnel. This week, 36 seconds and no timeouts, and you want Fields to try to make a play.
If you were going to throw another bomb to Darnell Mooney, which that was one of the sweet plays of the game, that 56-yard bomb, I was like, oh, yes, I think we're seeing it. Then okay, great, but they didn't do that.
Well, let's concentrate here on, first of all, here's a super chat I should read. The Pettis drop was the moment I knew the game was done. Everything just looks like pulling teeth with this team. It's just so strange. Man, I feel that, dude. Justin finally threw a great ball right there, hit you in the hands. You need wide receivers to go make plays for you sometimes, and he just couldn't do it. So it's a good point. Let's concentrate on this decision to punt, though, late on 3rd and short, or 4th and short, I should say. And so I was trying to talk myself into it a little bit as we were watching the game, because I'm like, okay, they don't have a quarterback right now. I sort of understand the logic. You get off a good punt, you pin them deep. They don't have a quarterback. You get 3 stops. You have 3 timeouts to use. You're basically getting the ball back. in the same spot with plenty of time still, but now you don't have your timeouts. On the flip side, someone could come right back and argue, okay, if you don't get the 4th down conversion trying to go for it, they don't have a quarterback. You still have 3 timeouts. You can stop them there. You're just losing the field position, but at least you're getting another crack at it because you still have possession. So I think ultimately I come down with you guys on that. You got to try. You got to try to go for it there.
You're at the 45-yard line. You're at midfield. Also, if you know that you're punting, then the 3rd and 2 call straight up the middle with 0 creativity is
Correct.
a bad call.
Yeah.
So you're one step ahead. That's your job as a head coach, right? So what are you doing? If we don't get it, I'm going. So I'm going to hammer it here, and then I'm going to hammer it again. Or
that happened twice in this game. Because that happened in the first half, too, when they were down about to score a touchdown. And I'm like, oh, they must be going. Like, I think I even said before the play, I go, I don't hate if this is a run because they're going to go for it on 4th down. They hand the ball off, and then they don't go for it on 4th down.
Right.
They kick the field goal.
Yeah, because additionally to the 4th down decision, you need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. There's a little under 4 minutes left in the game at that point. You still have all 3 of your timeouts. Let's say you got the touchdown, and didn't get the 2-point conversion.
You still need to get the ball back.
Now you can still get the ball back and have a chance to win on a field goal. So, you got to, as a head coach now, he's been a coordinator his whole career, but you got to think ahead, 4 steps ahead in those moments. And I just thought it was cowardly. I understand Justin Fields isn't doing great right now, but put the ball in his hands. At the very least, he's going to try to take off and run with it. You saw some.
Shout out to the Duke. What's up, Duke 811? You are the man. 99.99 super chat.
And that actually looks like American dollars. That's not one of those ones where it's like 1,000 rubles or whatever it is. And it's like, that's about 97 cents.
My goodness, thank you.
This is a great one. We appreciate the support. He says, love CHGO. Here's some support. Gordon looks like a practice squad player, and coaching is either completely inept or they don't trust Fields. There's no other options. Is there? Gonna try and drink away the memory of this game.
Duke, we feel you, brother.
That was me 24 hours ago with the Wisconsin game. It was
a winnable game today. Absolutely 100% winnable.
Thank you, Duke. Appreciate it.
And the Gordon thing, I'm not giving up on Kyler Gordon, just like I'm not giving up on the quarterback. But he's getting beat bad multiple times.
Was that the only shot downfield, though, they took the whole game? And I also thought it was a crappy PI call. He's playing through the hands, which you're allowed to do. To me, that's hand fighting. Come on, that's touchy. I know you guys didn't agree with me.
Optics-wise, because he got beat.
I know.
So then he's kind of raking. 100%. He doesn't turn his head around at any point. So I understood why they threw it, but it's not like the most egregious pass interference.
It's also if we're looking, if we don't want to be if we don't want to be negative about Kyler. Look, Jalen Johnson was supposed to be their number one cornerback. They don't have Jalen. So there's more on him right now. That's a little unfair to someone 4 games in his career playing an incredibly tough position as a rookie, so we all need to relax. However, doesn't look great.
Right. Because Kendall Vildor, I thought,
Kendall's
played
playing great.
Yeah, I like how he battles. He's not a Pro Bowler, but he battles.
Yeah.
And with Jalen Johnson, I think they're both elevated to better players, him and Kyler. But yeah, they're going every game. They're going after Kyler. They're going to test him on 3rd down. At one point, he gave up a pass, a first down. It was 1-on-1, and Kyler let him get to the outside. So, yeah, they're going to continue to go after him. It's going to be a long learning curve. I mean, how many years did it take for Kyle Fuller to catch on to be the cornerback that he became? I mean, at one point he was becoming trade bait in the same way Tevin Jenkins is now, or was, or I don't know. But.
Well, that's the other thing, too. Like, look, Kyler's learning. Kyler's feet are fully in the fire, all that. Flus, my man, you're playing with house money. This is a rebuilding year. No one's expecting the Bears to win the Super Bowl. Don't be afraid to go for it on 3rd and 2, 4th and 2.
Right, and that's where I just think the rubber's got to meet the road with those kind of decision-making. Last week, holding Fields back in certain situations, 3rd and 6, they run it against the Texans, and then before halftime. Today, on the 4th down, you punt it. There's these situations where he's coaching to try to win the game, But we all keep saying as fans, hey, this is a rebuilding year. This is a developmental year. Develop these guys. Now they fall to 2-2. I was definitely frustrated because obviously this is a winnable game. Next week at Minnesota looks a lot tougher if you're looking outward. And now, it could start, the losses can start stacking up. I was really hoping they could win all of the winnable games they had early on in their schedule because I wanted them to be playing competitive football into November so they can buy into what's going on here. Now, they lose to the Giants. Not a huge surprise, but it levels the playing field. They could go under 500 next week. So it gets to a point now for me as a fan where it's like, all right, I get you want to win every game that you coach, but at the same time, you got to develop these guys, specifically Justin Fields, so we know what we have going into the offseason. So I just wonder where he's going to turn the corner with that thought process as the head coach of the future. He's not going anywhere after this year.
All right, let's fly through some super chats here and we appreciate it. There's a lot coming in, and then
thank you, everybody.
Then we'll talk about Justin Fields in our Fields guide. But first, Richie Scott says hopelessness on repeat.
Well, Richie, love you, buddy. Thank you for the chat. Let's not go hopelessness. We don't need to go all the way to hopelessness. It's not.
This is a familiar feeling that Bears fans have. And I can't tell you how many times I have covered games where it feels like this when the game's over.
100%.
Like, what did I just watch? It's over and over and over and over again. Like, and this is a long play here. Like, I don't think we can overreact to what Ryan Poles and Matty Eberflus are trying to build here. Remember, this is all about building the foundation right now.
Right.
I would hope at some point they'll be more aggressive, but some of these decisions, it's like, come on. All right, the Shy $4.99 super chat. So tired of scoring 10 points a game. This is Matt Nagy all over again. Yeah.
Oh, don't say that name. Don't say that name. Don't say that name. Don't say that name. We don't need to add on.
Yeah.
And Tanner Solet basically saying the same thing. It's like all our guys with the Bulls gear in their avatars. He said, "What's up, fellas? The play calling was Nagy-esque, very confusing and self-hindering."
Yeah.
Ugh.
And the run game wasn't working like it was last week, so kind of and there's Fields had some nice moments, and we're going to talk about it, but he also missed some too.
The graphic that they put up in the first half, which was just to see it staring back at you, was alarming. 20 plays inside the red zone. The Bears have run it 19 times and thrown it once. That can't be true. Take that graphic. Please take that graphic off the screen. That is not the balance that we are looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. That is not the balance we are looking for. Come on, man. Let's get. Where's the 10-10 split there, Luke Getsy?
Well, I'm not defending it. I'm just adding a little bit of context. A lot of those red zone plays have been inside the 5-yard line where you're going to run a little bit more than pass.
Okay.
But
great. Can we get
still,
to 13-7?
Yeah, it just shows you that they are scared to death of Justin Fields throwing the ball sometimes in certain situations. By the way, I'm just going to say it. I'm bragging. Both I looked this up when you said the run game wasn't working, but my prop bet did hit. Khalil Herbert and Saquon did go over there.
Congratulations.
Their totals.
Glad the wallet hopefully is swelling. Hopefully played it.
Too bad I actually didn't play it.
Well, at least you predicted it.
Yes,
what do we got here? $5 super chat from Chris Gura. I'm losing a lot of faith in Getsy. I'm hating the screen passes on 3rd and long and the shotgun halfback dive on 3rd and short. Well,
other than the throw to Mooney, the Bears' 3rd down playbook was basically run the ball, screen, or have Justin Fields run around.
Well, at one point they were 5 for 9. I don't know how they finished the game. I mean,
but a lot of those were just Fields running.
The tight end slip screen in the first half worked, but then in the second half they tried to do the tight end slip screen in the red zone, and it got blown up.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Not really giving Justin an opportunity to throw into the end zone. So then they had the other screen for a first down on 3rd and 20 to Khalil Herbert. How the Giants didn't know that was coming, I'll never know. I mean, you can't blame the coach for calling a screen on 3rd and really long.
Bears were 0 for 3 in the red zone.
5 for 15 on 3rd down, so they ended 0 for 6.
They were 5 for 9 at one point, so they finished the game 5 for 15.
Wow, so 0 for 6 at the end. Next super chat. Bulls are back on Tuesday. Thank God. Make sure you tune in to the CHGO Bull Show, by the way, for that.
CHGO Bulls is amazing. Love Big Dave, Matt, Will. They do a great job. And Bears 2-2. Let's not completely punt on the football team.
All right, one more super chat, then we'll jump into our Fields guy. This is a $10 one from Chubbs. What's up, Chubbs?
My guy.
Zero creativity. Our quarterback can't throw an out route, and he won't throw to wide open guys. He can't climb the pocket. He's mostly not accurate. All right.
I mean, it's hard to argue. I mean, like I said, when we do our Fields guide, we're going to talk about it. But, he had some nice moments throwing deep to Mooney. The first throw to Mooney to start the game was a nice rip. But then he has other times where, he's ball placement is an issue. Vision, when he steps up in the pocket and he runs for that first down, Mooney's open in the seam. Differentiating opinions on whether or not, he should have thrown that or not. But like I said, we're going to talk about it. So
some things that I like today with him yes, I'd like to see him get the ball out more. However, in the pocket, at least at different times this season, many times this season, he's tripping off someone else's feet. He's running into the lone defender that's there. You're a guy that's supposed to get away from one dude. And today he was better getting out of there. It wasn't perfect, but he was much better, and he ended up, what did he run for today?
Hey, why don't you just wait to do it in the Fields guide there,
I know.
Good point.
Like
52 yards.
It's hard.
Yes. Yeah. I got plenty left for.
What do you say? Let's hit it.
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
And it is time now for our Fields guide presented by Green Ridge Farm. Justin Fields officially in this game goes 11 for 22. 174 yards, which is an over, by the way. His all-time low over-under, which was like 140 something. Did not throw a touchdown, did not throw an interception. Passer rating came out to 76.7 in this game. He did run a bunch, 7 rushes for 52 yards. And this is a very unofficial stat for me, but I thought he was going to be out for the year 5 times.
He took some hits that were super uncomfortable. The one where his ankle bent back, or please don't have your knee fall off right now.
I mean, hit after hit after hit. I was worried at halftime with the offensive line, Cody Whitehair going out. I'm like, is Justin Fields going to be able to finish this game? To his credit, he did. Wasn't pretty. Certainly would have helped if he got a little bit more help. The Dante Pettis drop, that play has to be made. Darnell Mooney, that catch that came back. I'm not putting that on Mooney. That ball needs to be better, but still, every once in a while, you need your receiver to help you out a little bit. You'd hope that ball didn't hit the ground. I made this comment a few times during the games. Like, sometimes Fields just throws a heavy ball, and that means the ball, like the nose of the ball dives down, and that causes the ball to sink. And there's too many low throws like that. And so he needs to be better. There was the play on that was going around social media a bunch in this game where he scrambles and actually picks up the first down on a 3rd and 10, but
17 guys are open.
Well, Darnell Mooney came open because I'm assuming it was a safety, maybe a linebacker comes down when Fields starts to run. I don't have a huge problem with him not throwing that ball or not seeing that, but as time goes on, and he did pick up the first down with his legs, we have to point that out, but as time goes on, as he goes through these situations where he climbs the pocket and realizes if he scrambles, then yes, someone's going to run down on you, throw it over their head. That could have been a touchdown for Darnell Mooney if he had seen that develop the way it did.
Right. It's gotten to a point now where there is no cohesion on what he's going to do when he rolls out of the pocket like that or, steps up to run. They're starting to block for him because they think they're just taking it off. You saw it on the one time where he rolls out and he tries to check it down to the tight end, keeping his eyes downfield. The tight end, while he's not a pass-catching tight end, wasn't even really ready for it because he's just assuming Fields is going to take off and run with it. So, there's just no cohesion whatsoever when it comes to that.
By the way, that was Trevon Wesco, which is a good candidate for our favorite game.
Or not a bear?
Bear or not a bear.
Wesco was 88 was popping. There was one of the early drives. I think they ended up getting the field goal to make it 7-6. It was 2nd and 12 in the red zone. Run, and then they go and kick a 22-yard field goal. That's not what we're looking to do. Like, there's got to be.
They got to be more aggressive.
Like, you have to be able to trust that your quarterback is not going to throw a pick in the red zone. If you don't trust that, then you might as well not play him ever. You've put in all this time, you've spent countless hours with him. You gotta believe in him and show that you believe in him.
Yeah, I mean, at one point he has a little rollout thing where he's going to dump it down to Tresson Ebner and he sails it over his head.
Okay.
The short throw to Darnell Mooney. But then you also have the drop by Dante Pettis. The offensive line pretty much had him running for his life. I mean, Cody Whitehair goes out with an injury, and that's where we fall into this chicken or the egg vortex that we've always been in with every quarterback we've ever had here in this city. That's why it's going to be so hard to make a real true evaluation on whether or not Justin Fields is the guy heading into next year, if this is how every game is going to look. And you're going to have some say, give him weapons, get him offensive linemen, which they're not wrong. And then you'll have others say that Justin Fields needs to be better because of this, and this. And they also won't be wrong. So it's hard. And for all the people that wanted to be critical of anybody that said, hey, they didn't get Justin Fields weapons, you can't cry about it now when the weapons aren't making plays for him.
The one
That's a fair point.
It is.
Well, what did I don't know if you put. I don't mean to steal Carm's notes here. But
Yeah.
Did you write down what I said when that drop happened?
I'm not sure if
was
I
like,
did. I got to go back
DK
through.
Metcalf would have caught that ball,
you-
and then I
I did
brought
write
it down
that
even farther, just to more realistic. That Julio Jones would have caught that ball.
Yeah, look.
He needs some help. He does.
He does. He does. He needs help up front. He needs help in anybody who can catch the football and or get open. This is true. He needs all of that. He also needs to not weirdly drop the football when he's going to throw a pass and have it be turned into a fumble, which I couldn't believe was a fumble because his arm was moving forward, and I get that that's just a fluke play, but that was really awkward when they were driving down by 1 at that point. It was
A lot of loafs are going to be handled out on that.
that was the Cody Whitehair loaf.
Oh, that's the biggest loaf of the game.
The
That
ball's
pissed
laying
me
right
off.
there, and an offensive lineman might defend them. Oh, they got their backs to the play. They just see a ball that came forward. How do they know it's a fumble? It's like they practice this. Ball on the ground, no matter you're on offense, defense, or special teams, ball sitting on ground. Pick up ball.
And they've been good about it all year, and then in that situation to not when you know it's a 50-50 of whether or not it's a fumble or an incomplete pass. I mean, you have to go after that one for sure.
It was really I'm not excusing Whitehair or anybody else for that matter, but it was really odd. Like, I think they all thought that he had thrown the football, but I guess you're not paid to think. I don't know. Well, you are paid to think. I don't know.
You're coached to pick
Just
up the ball.
pick up every ball, and then
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about leaving anything to chance.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
That's the hits philosophy. It's the foundation of the hits philosophy.
It is. It is. All right. Hey, this football season, PointsBet is bringing you a better way to bet live on games, which means before this ad is over, you can place a live same-game parlay, bet on the next drive to be a touchdown, and cash out on your live second-half overbet. With PointsBet, you have access to more live football markets than ever before. Build the perfect live same-game parlay by combining your favorite bets anytime during the game, including spreads, totals, player props, and more. Choose the outcome of the next drive and next points with PointsBet Lightning Bets. So whether you are on the move or on the couch, do it live on PointsBet. Download the PointsBet app today. Sign up with code CHGO to get your first 2 bets risk-free up to $2,000. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
Shout out to our friends at Game Time Tickets as well. If you want to go see the Bears or the Commanders at Soldier Field, great way to do it is through the Game Time app. Download it. Hottest new ticketing site. Makes it easier than ever. The best deal, sports, concerts, events right here. You want to sit at the 50-yard line. You want to sit up top. You want to get in for a better deal than anywhere else. Use that Game Time app. And to support CHGO because you love us and we love you, buy your tickets through the link in the description. 15 million people have downloaded the Game Time app. Damn it. You can be the 15 millionth and 38th to do it. So get on in. Game Time app. I love it. I live it. I check it 5 times a day. I love checking ticket prices. Game time.
Can we get a shot of
Malort?
Can I have your notebook?
What do you want?
We got to.
This was from first grade.
I know it's.
No, it isn't.
We got the third grade.
No, it isn't.
The third grade notebook.
It's the
here
mad scientist.
for Greg Braggs is falling apart.
Yeah.
Oh, the wide.
I was frustrated.
Notebook.
Page by page, brick by brick in the mornings,
Brick by brick,
page by page on
page.
Sundays.
I charted every single play.
The dude was charting plays.
Every
You were
single
charting
play.
plays?
Every single play.
I somehow
mean-
lost
And
my
a
pen
note on
sitting in
every
place.
play.
Okay.
I'm doing it for the people.
Carm is amazing. I thank you for.
Yeah.
That's a nice note.
And the
I see a lot of
Papers
stuffed on there.
yeah, run stuffed.
All right, let's get to our overreactions for this game.
Okay.
You're good at leading the overreaction segment.
All right. Well.
I got one.
Okay.
I'll start.
Yeah.
Al-Quadi Muhammad needs to be benched. What's he doing?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
What's he doing? Not keeping contained, not getting sacks. In general, like, I don't know. They're just.
Tony Booth agrees. Thank
Yeah.
you for the super chat, Tony.
Oh, there he is. Tony Booth. Al-Quadi should be on the bench. How do we not contain Jones? Give Travis Gibson more reps. Give him a chance. I don't know. I mean, I'll look at the film a little bit closer, but that's my overreaction for the game.
All right. I'm going to go with the Bears have blown it with, I think, I'll say this. Ryan Poles got it wrong with Bayless. I don't see, I hope I'm 100% wrong, but I don't see elite playmaker anywhere. He doesn't look super, he doesn't look comfortable catching the football.
How do you know? He hasn't played
Did
offense.
he play a snap today?
Because what I saw in literally he does. First of all, he didn't catch a punt, so that is a football and that is catching. Second of all, I don't. So those do go together. Second of all, I watched him in minicamp and he didn't look comfortable there. Third of all, when I also am watching him, do you see a guy that just? I don't see enormous off the screen speed coming at me.
No, he looks like Cordero Patterson.
So
Yeah, that's-
Well, Patterson's fast and
that's
strong, but
I'm not.
He ran over a guy at one point on a return.
I'm not. But I'm not.
I'm a Bayless guy, so I'm gonna push back.
I
on
don't.
that.
Well, here's
go
the-
ahead. Push back. That's fine. I'm for what I've seen so far. I am nonplussed.
okay, Austin.
That is an overreaction by
Yep,
definition.
That's the definition of an overreaction. Good
This
job.
is not supposed to
Good
be
job.
rational.
No, good job in the segment. Yep. Austin Cole says, drop punt aside, why no Bayless on offense? I just think it's probably a matter of lack of practice. Like, Friday was his first full practice in, like, over a month. And
Well-
if you can't trust him,
It ain't because they have too many weapons that he can't get on the field.
I'm with you. I was a little surprised it didn't work in, like, 3 plays for the guy or something, like an end around or something. But, look, this pick hasn't paid off. It's still early. It's week 4.
First time on the field.
But the guy spent more time hurt than he spent healthy, which is a concern. He's 67 years old, which is concern. No, I'm just kidding. That was just.
And also, it kind of sucks. I hope I'm dead wrong. I really like Bayless. Every time I've been around him, the guy's extremely personable. I enjoy him. However, I don't know. Nobody had him getting picked in the 3rd round.
Justin wanted him, and that's why they picked him. That's what they said. Justin.
Okay, I
Was
didn't.
part of
No, they said Justin. They had Justin watch film of
He
Bayless,
said he
and he
liked-
said he liked what he saw.
Yeah, I don't think that Justin's in there knocking down doors saying draft Bayless. I don't think that happened.
So my overreaction is
Bull.
either cut Lucas Patrick or trade Tevin Jenkins. I'm done with the carousel. Tevin Jenkins, in my opinion, should play. But if you're not going to play him, then trade him because I'm sick of thinking about him. Lucas Patrick got blown up more than a few times today. No offensive line expert, but play your most talented players. Tevin Jenkins, maybe his Wednesday practices aren't as good. And yes, I want this team to hold the players accountable. But, at the same time, we need guys to protect your franchise quarterback, and Lucas Patrick getting blown up isn't getting the job done. Or put him at center. I don't know what's going on, but I don't like any of it.
Well, the problem is Cody Whitehair's hurt now, so you might have to keep playing him. Or I don't know, might have to get Alex Leatherwood involved. The guy they claimed.
Strap on the leather. Let's go.
That was aggressive. The guy they claimed off waivers from the Raiders. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. The update on Cody Whitehair, by the way, he wasn't able to finish this game with a knee injury, and his manager on Twitter said there's an MRI that's going to be performed tomorrow. I saw Brad Biggs report from the stadium that he has a knee brace on. Which knee was it? It was his right leg. He's got a brace on his right leg.
Not good.
Got a cart ride to the buses to go home to
Cart ride to the buses.
The overreaction from the chat is from Furious D36. He says, bench Kyler Gordon.
That's a good overreaction.
I don't like that. I think the guy's got to work it. Look, when you're going to play rookies,
or that is an overreaction,
they got to work it out on the field. It hasn't been great, but I do think he has a lot on his plate. Yes, Michael Schofield would be an option at guard too.
Well, and it will help a lot, you would think, when they get Jalen Johnson back. But I don't anticipate that'll be this week. It's going to be a little while longer from what it seems like the way they're reporting on Jalen. So that will take a little bit of pressure off of Gordon.
I know, but the other thing with the timeline in terms of the one thing I didn't understand with Jalen Johnson was last week he was questionable. This week they just ruled him out on Friday. Okay, so that was weird. Also, if it's something significant, they should have put him on IR.
Right.
Like 2 weeks ago when it happened. So now, so you'd think he would return sometime in the next 2 games. Otherwise, he should have been put on IR.
They might, yes, timeline-wise, that's 100% right. But I don't know. It did not. He goes on the radio, with Parkinson Spiegel, and he does not sound like he's ready.
Yeah,
at all. So at least that's what I was hearing. Maybe he'll miraculously be back. Maybe he's phone rolling that calf to death, and he'll be back out there next week. It would be nice to see him against the Vikings.
Well,
they could use him. Somebody's got to cover Justin Jefferson.
J.J. Watt had a calf
God.
injury that was apparently really a heart attack. If you missed that on the pregame show, J.J. Watt. Is he playing, by the way? The Cardinals are playing right now. He said he was going to play. He said he went into AFib Wednesday, got shocked on Thursday. He's playing football Sunday.
Bears fans had an AFib today at different moments.
Crazy. All right. Did you do an overreaction? I forget.
Yeah,
I lied.
the Tevin Jenkins.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm sorry.
Because I'm sick of it.
What's yours, Adam Hoge?
El Quadi Muhammad.
Oh, yeah, right.
I was gonna say
We all
Eberflus.
forgot ours.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Eberflus needs to. I was gonna say Eberflus needs to grow a pair, but I already said that to start the show, so I figured I'd switch it up.
Okay. That's not an overreaction, though. That's just
the truth.
I think they got to be more aggressive at some point. You would think so. All right.
Do we get Daniel Trump in here? $20 super chat.
I would like to get this in if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
let's
jump it in.
$20 from Daniel, 11 for 2,276 yards, some rushes, and improvement for Justin Fields. Let's admit there are some positives even during a loss. I agree with you, Daniel Trump. As far as Fields goes, if we're looking at the global this year picture, it was his best game.
We said at halftime, we did a little halftime video and put it on social media. I said progress, and people were laughing at it. Some were. You're saying progress. I can agree if you're basing it off the last 2 games.
Hoge's
but
got no
it's
progress.
The bottom, our expectations are as low as they possibly
what I'm
can be because
about.
we only had, I think, like 17 passing yards in the second half of this game. So while I said progress at halftime, it was 2 steps backward in the second half. So, there was
sad.
slight improvement, but our expectation level is unbelievably low at this point. It is sad.
50% completion rate, 176 yards, and we're like, here he comes, Justin Fields. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, he had the lowest expected ever over-under in passer rating NFL history at 145, and he beat it by 31 damn-ass yards.
Counterpoint from Aaron Bushnell. Justin Fields' stats so far. Yards is last. Touchdowns is tied for 27th. Interceptions tied for 26th. QBR 31st. Ouch.
Right. Right now at this particular moment, he is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, and it cannot be argued. Can he get a zillion times better? Let's hope so. But that's where he's at right now.
I don't have much to say. The one little sign of progress I thought early on in the game, his pocket presence was much better.
Yes.
Yep.
I thought he hung in there. I thought he delivered a throw. I thought another one, he bailed not too early. He stayed in the pocket until he absolutely had to. Then he got out, made play with his legs. That was positive.
Couple first downs. He tough running where they couldn't get him down.
Yeah.
Zing to Mooney to start the game. Bomb to Mooney was cool to see. I thought what you're saying, the pocket was better. We're saying the same thing over and over again. Doesn't have enough help. Needs it up front. Needs it with playmakers. But I mean, let's just name what it is. He's got a mountain to climb.
The one preseason take of mine that I'm starting to regret. I was never denying that they didn't have enough playmakers. That's obvious. But I did think that as a whole, the wide receivers could come together and actually be more productive than last year's wide receiver group. Because I thought they would be able to be schemed open. Now, here's the problem. It's kind of all of the above. You have plays where the wide receivers are open and the quarterback's not getting them the ball. Then you have plays where they're open, they do get them the ball, and then they drop it, right? You know, and then you just have an offense that's more intent on running, really not trying to get the ball downfield all that much anyway. So I don't think that preseason prediction is going to come true, but
It's not.
It's not. And I'm starting to sit here like, you may think that Justin Fields needs to just develop without spending too much money on a wide receiver. You might get him killed, though, in the process. Like, don't you think he could?
Because that's the other big critique, as you mentioned throughout the game. He does not know how to slide properly.
Oh, that's driving me crazy.
He's gonna get killed, but part of it might be his own undoing because of how he's sliding when he is getting a first down or getting outside of the pocket. He's got to get that under control.
Down.
But I also let's be in the realistic world. They have $100+ million to spend in the offseason. They are going to get him some help. So how do you go through this season, build his confidence up, win as many games as possible with what you have?
What they're failing to do is that first part, is build his confidence up.
Yeah. You're saying if they're failing it?
Yeah, I said they're failing to do that right now because they're – I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to build confidence.
Do you think he does? He leaves today with –
Maybe he's feeling a little bit better, but –
I mean, I would ask you Stadium.
Go to the Super Chat with Sam Fell because this is exactly what I wanted to talk about when we're talking about, you know, you're saying the $100 million, and it says, you know, can't allow this staff to draft a QB if they can't develop Fields. How can you trust them to know what they're doing with development? And that's the thing that they didn't get him weapons. How to really evaluate him this year is going to be really hard now that we're finally into the realization he doesn't have enough weapons. The offensive line is extremely thin and young. It's
let's look
like
at
I'd love to be a fly on the wall with Ryan Poles because does he have the intention to give Justin Fields the weapons next year to give him the fair shake, you know, or as Sam Fell, can we even allow it if we can't trust that they're going to develop him properly?
Well, look at the Packers for a second. Everybody freaked out about Devontae, right, who's scuffling with the Raiders who haven't won a football game. But all of a sudden, Aaron's got great chemistry, or at least it's building with Romeo Doubs, who was a late-round pick. They're connecting left and right. So, correct, Justin Fields isn't Aaron Rodgers, but like we should see at some point this year some bond built with someone, whether it's Cole Kmet or Dante Pettis or Darnell Mooney that we see more frequently. Like we saw it with last year with Mooney. They he had 1,000 yards. So yes, Allen Robinson's in here, and so there's more attention on him and all that type of stuff. But something should develop somewhere with someone.
That's what I'm saying. So, like,
EQ.
if the numbers on the stat sheet aren't going to be there week to week, what are they identifying as the correct progress to say we aren't drafting a quarterback in the first round? We are going to draft a wide receiver and offensive lineman to help this quarterback. Is it the footwork? Is it the pocket presence? Is because at the stats, I don't know if they're ever going to be there this year.
Yeah. I'm okay with them drafting a quarterback next year. I'm not. I would be stunned. We're way ahead of ourselves right now. But hey, back to the overreaction segment. I would be stunned if they were.
But it's more so a conversation like, how are they even evaluating him right now when they're struggling to really give him a chance right now.
Right. So like last week, he said, I didn't throw the hitch route when I took off and ran for it because my feet weren't set to the wide receiver, and that's what they're teaching him. So is that a positive check when they're in the film room? Like, you did the right thing there. Your feet weren't set. You didn't just sidearm fling it to the hitch. You took off and ran. That's the right. Or are they saying, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it was a step in the right direction in that case this week. But that's always easier for me to evaluate on Mondays and Tuesdays, I feel like, after I've been able to watch it a little bit more. Regardless, I think we can all agree on one thing. The offense sucks.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, it's so painful to watch. Michael Badgley,
the money
badger.
The money badger.
The money badger had all your points. That's embarrassing.
It ain't great.
Come on. I mean, we're trying to like come up with every, is it this? Is it that? Is it it all sucks. Right? Or as John Fox would say, it's all a problem. like you can't have your kicker you signed on Friday be the only guy who scores a point for you.
Well, it took 4 weeks into the season, but I just think we're fine. Like, for me personally as a fan who's, like, thinking about how we can steal some wins early on and, like, find our way into late October, early November with a winning record or a really good record to, like, play competitive football in November. This is that realization moment that that's not going to happen. They're probably going to lose next week to the Vikings, and it's going to start – the losses will start adding up, especially when you consider the second half of the season. So I said all off season, keep your expectations low and keep your eye on development. And first few weeks were fun. We were 2-1. Now we're back at 500, and now I'm taking my mindset right back to where I was all off season and just going to keep an open mind to the development of these young players.
Thank you, Richie Scott, for the $10 super chat. No sugarcoating. We've seen this before. Yes, we have, Richie. You are correct.
And then he adds $2 to finish it off and says, by the way, love you guys. Just sick of this over and over. That's what I'm saying, man. It's just always the same thing over and over again. And I get this year. This year it's going to be tough on Sundays as we do these post-game shows. But we do have to kind of keep a step back and be like, and remind ourselves, okay, it's all about the foundation right now.
Right.
Trying to set the expectations for the players they ultimately keep around. This is how we're going to play football. And then bring in the better players next year, I think is kind of what the game plan is. But
and Bears fans have a tough time swallowing that.
I know.
Because you want to evaluate how the coach is doing, how the players are doing. But at the same point, it's almost, I don't want to say it's a free pass for the whole year, but when the barrel is so dry, how do you overreact to anything that's going on?
That's why we got to hold them to it, though, like in certain moments of games. Like, I don't care if you're rebuilding or not rebuilding. By the way, please hit the like button right now. Do it right now. Right now. Hit the like button right now.
Subscribe.
Yeah, we always got newcomers here during post games. Hit that subscribe button. We're here every week. We're here actually every day during the week, too.
We never leave this seat. In spirit.
That's why I have hip problems, because I sit like this 24/7. But when they have moments like not going for it on that 4th and 2, rebuilding or not rebuilding, that's a stupid decision. You got to go for it. So I think those are kind of, there are still going to be moments that transcend whatever free pass that they should get this year, because it's their first year of basically a rebuilding situation. Like, I don't care. You're in the game. It's 8 points. Go for it.
Well, if we dissect the Flus, I don't think he's going to fall anywhere close to the most risk-taking NFL head coaches now or anywhere in the future. Matt Eberflus, the reason why we like him, or most Bears fans like him, and I know that after every game it's going to be a referendum on the quarterback and the coaching staff apparently at this point, but it's because he's solid. He's got his hits philosophy. The Bears are going to give maximum effort. There's not going to be a whole lot of confusion. There's going to be accountability. He's going to pay attention. The guy is
safe.
He's safe. Exactly. This is not Brandon Staley
Or the guy in Miami.
Sure. You can name or the guy in Minnesota. We're not dealing with
Kevin Connolly.
Thank you. We're not dealing.
He's from Entourage. Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell. Thank
Second
you.
Entourage reference today.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, sure.
The Flus is safe.
Come on.
It's safe and solid. So hopefully that will pay off for the Bears, but that's
and T. Kane says it. And we brought it up to start the show. Why did it take him so long
Mike
to
McDaniel
stop the boots, the play action boots?
You're right.
And that's my thing is, as you mentioned, Eberflus, it's not an indictment on your career or, the next 4 years for you as a head coach here, but you're a defensive head coach. You have this great resume coming from Indianapolis. And the broadcast kept calling it out. They're not adjusting to the play action boot. You're leaving Jaquan Brisker hanging out to dry. He's a rookie. You got to come to the sideline and give them the adjustment in the first half. You go to the halftime tunnel and make the adjustment. So what was it that was the eureka moment at halftime that you couldn't make at the end of the first quarter?
And by the way, the adjustment wasn't that complicated. It's literally what teams are doing to your quarterback.
Yes.
They started
Bingo.
doing it in the first half of the first game.
It took too long.
Contain the edge.
Oh, literally one time after they did it should have been addressed. Hey, look at what they're going to do here. They're going to boot Daniel Jones out. You have to stay home. Done and done. You don't stay home, you're not going to be on the field. Thank you. 9. Brisker, whoever, period.
And I feel like we should be obligated to bring this up like every 10 minutes. But once again, the Giants didn't have a quarterback at the end of the game. And you still lost to them.
We keep bringing up Eberflus, but Alan Williams holds a lot of responsibility to this too. Yeah. I don't bring him up as much because Eberflus is the defensive head coach, but it is on his watch too.
I will say, though, the adjustments were eventually made. They did make them.
Still haven't given up a touchdown in the second half of any game this year.
That's right.
They have not. Yes, that is
4
true.
4 field goals.
The Bears have not given up a touchdown in the second half of any of their 4 games, which is impressive. And you should have an offense that should be able to take advantage of that.
And shout out to Eddie Jackson, who played another solid game, had a great pick, albeit wasn't great field position. The Bears went 3 and out, but Eddie played another solid game.
I'm pretty sure, didn't Eddie have a nice open field tackle on Saquon too? To start in the first half?
Yeah, and perfect form tackles too. Eddie's having a great year. And
great year.
It's really nice to see.
Like I said on the After Dark show, it's not even, everybody keeps saying Bojack is back. I think it's an evolution of Bojack because it's not just that he's back, he's playing like a leader. And that's something we hadn't seen from him yet because he was a young player the last time he was, lighting the league up with all the pick sixes. So I like what Eddie Jackson has been doing, in the leadership role with this young secondary.
All right, we got our notes to get through, and we'll also hear from Nicholas Moreano from MetLife Stadium here coming up. First, I want to tell you that Pins and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of CHGO. We love our Pins and Aces gear. Get tons of compliments on and off the course. They are family-owned golf and apparel business. They make amazing polos, hats, golf bags, and even our favorite beer sleeve. Telling you, if you're a golfer, you need this. Goes right in your bag, can hold up to 7 beers right there. It's a sleeve. It's cold. Keeps the beers cold for an entire round. It's the best. So check it out. It is the beer sleeve from Pins and Aces. Pinsandaces.com is the website. Use code CHGO and you will get 15% off your first order and free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. FocoApparel.com. Use code CHGO.
Get all your apparel from Foco, Foco, hoodies, signs, bobbleheads, slippers, anything to make you look super solid. Sports merch collectibles. Foco has you covered. Perfect gift. Go to Foco, Foco, football fan, and elsewhere as well. The hoodies, by the way, are super sweet. Check out Foco.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use that promo code CHGO, and you get yourself 10% off on non-presale items.
All right. While we're waiting for Nick, I will go through some of my notes that I still have here that we haven't covered.
Okay.
First thing is, I think a play we're kind of forgetting that was enormous in this game that the defense has to take some responsibility for, but that missed tackle by Nicholas Moreano in the back, way in the backfield on third down on Saquon Barkley. Couldn't wrap him up.
It's a killer.
Saquon's a good player, but you got to make that play. He gets out, converts the first down. They score their second touchdown of the game on that drive. That turned out to be an absolute killer. Can we give Michael Badgley the money bet? He's a good-looking gentleman.
Great-looking kicker.
I mean, the hair flow.
No,
Give me a head with hair.
He's wearing Mitch Trubisky's number.
Should have his own reality show.
On the day Mitch got benched, he wore Mitch's number.
Mitch got benched. Kenny Pickett threw an interception on his first pass.
Very first pick. As I dropped the dad joke, he's going to pick it. They're going to pick it.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, who won that game? Pittsburgh lost 24-20.
Wow.
To the Jets. Zach Wilson getting the win in his first game back.
Bears got to play the Jets.
When's the next time Trubisky gets a start in the NFL? Maybe never.
Well, that's rude.
Well,
hey, Chase Daniels made a hell of a career as a backup.
I got nothing against Mitch. It's not his fault that Ryan Pace did what he did.
Mitch is still capable of being a backup around the league for a while.
Maybe he'll exactly.
He's somebody that you would trust to come in the game if you had to. Shout out to St. Rita's Mike Kafka. There was some talk about Brian Daboll. Obviously, the Bears were interested. Could have hired him as the head coach. I think the downside there was like, do you want another offensive coach who's just going to come in and call the plays and not really be a CEO? Well, credit to Brian Daboll, because Brian Daboll went and got Mike Kafka, who's been sitting there in Kansas City for a couple of years now. Granted, he was under contract, and Andy Reid doesn't let his coaches go when they're under contract. So his contract was up. Brian Daboll strikes, gets Mike Kafka, who played at St. Rita, played at Northwestern, and says, okay, we hired you. You're going to call the plays. And I thought Kafka called a hell of a game today. I had a chance to see Kafka up close when he was a GA at Northwestern before he went to the Kansas City Chiefs, working on the sideline with Clayton Thorson during games when he was at Northwestern. And it was impressive. I had a feeling he was going to become a good coach. So let's be honest. He owned Allen Williams for about 2.5 quarters in this game.
He did.
Maybe 3. And then how impressive was it? They don't have a quarterback, and it was like seamless how they just snapped to, okay, Wildcat, pick up yards.
Right.
I think the only reason why Daniel Jones was still in the game at that point, by the way, was to call the plays.
Maybe that was a little bit weird because your quarterback is out there and you can't move. That was bizarre. But I'll tell you, Saquon looked awful comfortable back there, and he's, Matt Breida's getting a couple of carries out of it. Bears are a little confused. It wasn't great.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Eberflus, grow some balls. Like, take it. Okay, after the first play, there's confusion. Daniel Jones is on the outside. You feel like you have to cover him. But now on the second play, you've gotten your bearings. You see that he's limping. You see he has no threat of being a pass catcher. Pull your defender off of him and put another man in the box and stop the run so you can try to win this game. They didn't adjust, and the Giants kept running the opposite direction of where Daniel Jones was, and the Bears just kind of were holding on for dear life. I was disappointed in that.
All right, a few other things. Up until the awful muffed punt at the end of the game by Bayless Jones. Bears special teams had a heck of a game. I mean, they scored all the points. Josh Blackwell had the forced fumble and forced fumble recovery I should just say fumble recovery there to earlier in the game. That was a big play that the Bears, of course, could only muster a field goal on. But they were playing well up until that point.
Bayless had 2 nice returns.
Yep.
One where he got to about the 40, and then another one where he ran a dude over. Then it just, unfortunately, bad finish.
Yeah, so that was a killer you just can't have at the end. Shout out to Kendall Vildor. He's been playing solid. I don't want to give him too much credit. It's not like he's, getting his hands on passes constantly, making interceptions or anything like that. But he's been improved. He has gotten better. He's not somebody that teams are, other with the exception of like early in the game last week, teams really aren't targeting him a ton. And when they do, he's been making some plays. Good tackling, too. So
that's why, people were giving me some crap because I went on a limb and said what I keep saying here. And I've been saying it for a couple years now. He just reminds me of Tim Jennings. Yes, Tim Jennings got more hands on the ball, more interceptions. By the time he came to the Bears, he was already played 4 years in the league. This is Vildor's second year in the league. So I like the trajectory that Kendall is playing at right now. You get Jalen Johnson back out there. You've got Kyler Gordon. I like those 3. And then Eddie Jackson and Jaquan Brisker as the safeties behind them. I like that. It's something to build off of. I got a lot of respect for the way Vildor battles. He was an easy target, low-hanging fruit for Bears fans last year to go after with a depleted secondary.
And then the last couple things. Let's see here. Roquan Smith missing the tackle on Tyrod Taylor too.
That's in the Carm notes.
Yeah, you got to make that tackle, buddy, if you want the money. Granted, great game last week, but that's a play you got to make. And then
down too.
I just saw our guy Herb Lawrence, retweet this, and I was wondering on it, and I should have checked it myself because I do follow this account. There is an account called the Surrender Index on Twitter at @surrender_index. It's one of these like computer accounts that automatically posts. It keeps track of like how cowardly your punts are. So Chicago decided to punt to the Giants from their own 45 on 4th and 2 with 3:15 remaining in the fourth while losing 12-20 with the surrender index of 26.46, whatever that, that's how they computed, whatever. This punt ranks at the 98th percentile of cowardly punts of the 2022 season and the 97th percentile of all punts since 1999.
It was coward.
I couldn't believe it at the time and had a content camp guest like they're punting. I'm like, no, they're not. They're absolutely not.
And the field goal earlier in the game.
It's
right after you run the ball on 3rd down.
Right. And I didn't have as much a problem with that field goal, so I'm not going to play Monday morning quarterback on that one. But I understand other people's arguments, but I'll just leave it to the ones I did have an issue with. Like I said, last week at the end of the half with 3 timeouts, this week punting it on 4th and 2, you are playing the coward's act. You got to have a little more confidence in your quarterback to make a play in those situations. I'm not saying just throw the whole game away and do everything to give Justin Fields an opportunity to develop, but those are 2 instances where I don't care how bad Justin Fields has been. Give him an opportunity to make that play.
The Floose needs to let himself loose. Christian Watson, by the way, in the end zone for the Packers. Yeah.
There you go.
Should we do Carm's notes ahead of?
Let's do it.
All right.
Waiting on Nick from New Jersey, so we will knock out my favorite segment of the show.
I got some little deep dive here right at the start on Carm's notes. Trenton Gill teeing off today with the smiling Trenton Gill, and then they zoom over to Justin Fields, and he looks miserable before the game starts.
I was wondering if you saw that.
Yeah,
I said something to Braggs because you were actually, I think, on the other side of the studio, and I was like, okay, that's a great sign.
He looked so unhappy, like he needed to go to the bathroom or just
right before the game too. Fields, he's just got that face.
What was your theory you brought up later in the game?
I don't want to say.
You don't have to say the exact words, but you could explain it.
Yeah, because they panned to him before the game, and he looked miserable before the game even started. You made a joke, like, look at him, he already looks miserable. Then at one point in the game, he goes back to the sideline after unsuccessful drive. He looks miserable again on the sideline, not really talking to anybody, not looking at the iPad or anything. And I'm sure they do that. But then, Kevin was like, if we're talking about, demeanor with our quarterback, it's over for him. And I was just like, well, maybe he just has that resting B face. I don't want to say it. Maybe he's just got that face. Like he's actually focused, but it looks like he's pissed off.
It's the resting Bears quarterback face. Cutler had it. Foles
resting
had it.
bear face.
Trubisky had it. I mean,
That's
everybody in that
That's
seat
it.
has had it.
Yeah.
Resting bear face.
Moses-
That's it.
That's what you
Moses
meant
Mo-
by B, right?
Yeah. Resting bear. You just left out the QB face. We talked about it earlier, but I just wrote down the red zone thing. 19 runs, 1 pass. Come on, man.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and then the good-looking kicker, Michael Badgley, that was underlined in the room. So were some early goings.
By the way, I just want to say, we don't really know what's going on with Cairo Santos, but just hope everything's all right. I mean,
100%.
anytime a football player is missing a football game for personal reasons,
Not good.
it's just
Something's up.
best to him and whatever is going on there with his family or whatever it is. We really don't know. Don't want to speculate, but hey, at least Michael Badgley came in and did his job. So it'll be interesting to see how that's handled this week at Hallis Hall. I did mention pregame, Badgley was in a similar situation last year with the Colts. Not only did he handle his duties perfectly in his first game, but then he stayed, he was there for the rest of the season, I think.
That'd be really surprising with how well Cairo has played. But, hey, he certainly showed himself to the rest of the NFL that he's capable of knocking it through. So congrats to Badgley, and good luck to Cairo on, again, whatever's going on. I wrote down Kyler Gordon did not get off the block on the Daniel Jones touchdown. Some good deception from the Giants there. Valus was cracked on his first ever return. On the deep ball to Mooney, Adam Hoge, Jugs machine worked on the 56-yarder. Of course, the Moondog was working with the Jugs machine after the game last weekend. Hoge having a heart attack right after that. They're running 2 plays, running Saquon and the boot with Daniel Jones screaming at the Bears to figure out what was going on. Justin Fields in his 3rd and 6 pickup on the ground. I made the notes here today. Congratulations on. I thought Fields was just better in the pocket, better getting out of there. The fumble that Fields had, Braggs was the first guy who was calling it, screaming out, "Get on it!" And
I lost
the
it.
Bears fumble,
Yeah.
that nobody picked up. You
Yep.
were all over that one.
Yep.
Well, I just always am going to have flashbacks when Julius Peppers didn't pick up
Yep.
that fumble against the Packers in a pivotal game, and it's like, and that it just drives me crazy. Pick up the ball. What's the worst that can happen? It's incomplete. You go on to the next play.
I think
pick up the damn ball.
every Bears player for eternity should have to watch that play every single
Cost us a playoff
like every single
appearance.
every single Saturday before the game. Before every game, they should have to play that play just so it drilled into everybody's head, and obviously it cost the Bears today.
Speaking of that level of Hoge right there, Saquon should have been tackled in the backfield by Nicholas Moreano, missed him, and Hoge immediately, this is bad, as he was getting out of there.
As soon as you miss that
Before-
tackle,
yeah.
you know you're screwed.
Before he even came past the line of scrimmage,
still running
you're
backwards,
Like,
I
oh, this is going to be bad.
Like, this is the problem.
I was like, no. And then he went for 30 yards.
Flu's timeouts at the end of the half was just a major, major disappointment. Also, Braggs late in the second half. Corner out, safety out, fucking rip it. Talking to the quarterback out loud. That was a moment of
There
disappointment.
were still a couple moments in this game.
Yeah.
One of those.
They had a
remember-
corner and a safety out, and they in the second half depleted secondary, and they only threw it for 17 yards, I think, in the second half.
Come on. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That can't happen. And then what was the one play where Fields rolled out to the right? He had the guy on the sideline he tried to throw it to, and like before he threw it, I'm like, you already threw it too late, and the safety came over and got it.
Yep.
You got to throw it earlier.
That was-
Right, on the sideline to Pettis.
Yes, that's what it
It was
was.
right at the goal line. Yep.
Yeah.
And the safety came over and broke it up, and it was like,
Because
throw
there's
the ball.
Right, because there's those moments that you got to put them on Fields if you're going to be fair with this. But then there's other moments like when it's third down, They're just blitzing the house, and we can't pick everybody up, and he's, taking a beating back there. So the chicken or the egg? Fuck the chicken and the egg.
That's right.
There we go. Moving along. Start of the second half. It's a one-score game. Adam Hoge, they have to score a touchdown here. If they don't score a touchdown here, they lose. Well, they didn't score a touchdown, and they did lose. And then there was the they rushed 3. This is going to be bad moment, but on that play, actually, Justin had the completion to Darnell Mooney. Hoge did not you didn't trust the quarterback.
Which one?
The Giants were rushing 3. They were like, they're rushing 3. This is going to be bad.
Oh yeah.
And then he threw a completion to Mooney.
That was bad defense
Little sidearm.
by the Giants. How are you going to drop 8 and not account for Darnell Mooney?
Yeah.
So credit there to Justin and Mooney for finding the open space in the zone, and Justin for hitting them.
I wrote
That's
down
a big play.
Yeah, I wrote down the Justin Jones encroachment because it's rare that you see a player encroach and then not stop and just keep running along. Like I thought that was just an interesting. Like, where are you going there, Justin Jones?
You said he was trying to send a message.
He was just wanted to growl at them. Jaquan Brisker containing Daniel Jones. Then he gave the shh. And I was kind of like, you've not done that all day. I don't know if you got to anyone right now. But he did. It was a good play. He shushed him. Let's see here. Right before that, Kenny Pickett was picked. Trubisky was out. At that point, it was, by the way, 14-12 with 4:23 left in the third quarter. Director, head of content, Kevin Kada, at that a little bit later after that. One day we will tell our children that we watched this game.
I will not.
Yeah, that was.
I will not tell my children.
I'll save it.
They were probably watching it, but the 1-year-old's too little to remember it, so I'll
save Addison.
I'll never bring it up.
Yeah,
she'll be watching with brighter days at Arlington Heights.
I won't tell Poppy the puppy. Tyrod, when he came in, they'll keep the same game plan because they know the Bears can't.
Well, that was an interesting moment because it turns out Daniel Jones clearly couldn't really move. So, but I was wondering if it was actually like kind of debatable if he could come back in, and I thought it was big because they at that point they were killing the Bears on his ability to boot and play action. And if his ankle's dinged and you can't do that, then I thought it was 100% the right decision to bring Tyrod Taylor in the game, which I think obviously played into that. And then Tyrod got his head taken off on a play, so then he had to leave. Then the Bears lost to a team who didn't have a quarterback.
Team that didn't have a quarterback. The Dante Pettis drop is on here. The Roquan Immoral tackles, missed tackles are on here. So is the Jalen Jones missed tackle. And then we wrap up the notes today.
I mean, to your first note with Kyler Gordon not fighting through the block on the play-action rollout for the touchdown. Yeah, I agree. I guarantee that'll end up being a loaf in Eberflus's film review because, the play is you're not giving Kyler Gordon much of a chance, but fight through it and maybe you'll get a block in the back of a holding call. Don't just let him in there. You got to fight, even if it's the odds are stacked against you.
I would slightly argue that he was fighting. He's just little. Like he's gonna get blocked.
Fight harder. The Lions coach is biting ankles and stuff.
Bite an ankle. Okay. Pulls
and losing to the Seahawks.
Bite a kneecap.
I was
whatever you got to do.
I was just about to give an update on the NFC North.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Lions lost 48-45 to the Seahawks, who are, in my opinion, one of the worst teams in the league. The Lions are giving up like 40-plus points every week.
Yeah, their defense.
Holy
bad
crap.
Lions had a lot of guys out on offense. Right?
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't playing, but they still managed to put up 45. Meanwhile, the Vikings were in London today. They beat the Saints 28-25. That is one interesting nugget, I guess. I don't know how else to put it, with the Bears going to Minnesota next week. Typically, you go to London, you have a bye week the next week. And the Vikings aren't taking it. I don't think the Packers are taking it. The Packers go to London next week, and I don't think that they have a bye after theirs. So, doesn't look good on paper right now, Vikings versus Bears. I don't know that maybe that can help you a little bit. Not sure.
I mean, the bottom line, though, the Bears have been in every game. They were even the Green Bay game, they were in it. If you end up getting in at the goal line, maybe they did get in, at least in their minds. They were in the game. I expect them to be in the game with Minnesota. I'm not saying in the game.
In the game.
In the game.
Like EA Sports.
They will be at the game. Correct.
They're in the game.
At the game.
I don't know.
Will they be in the
They'll be
game?
one
I
of the
hate
teams
being
playing.
defeatist, but I thought about picking against the Bears this week, and I didn't, just because the Giants are still pitiful. So I felt like maybe we'll squeak one out like the Texans, win against my better judgment. I think the Bears will get waxed next week, but I'll save my predictions for the end of next week.
And then they got to turn around and play Washington.
That's a win.
4 days
That's
later.
what I'm saying. That's why I'm disappointed they couldn't win this one to build themselves some inner confidence and momentum. 3-1, big divisional game. Now your mentality totally switches. I mean, last year they started a little fast, right? Was it 3-1 to start the year?
I think you're thinking of 5-1 a couple years ago. the
No, I
2020
mean last
season.
year even, right? They won a few games.
I'll pull it up
Start
right
the year,
now.
you pull it
I don't
up.
know. They were coming off that Browns game where
Yeah, they definitely.
basically the Bears were lucky
Right,
that the
they beat
NFL
the
didn't kick them out of
Bengals.
the league.
They lost to the Rams. They beat the Bengals. Whatever.
So they were
And-
1-2 at least after 3
But then
weeks.
it started to take a turn.
Yeah.
And then by the time early November hit, we lost to the Niners on Halloween. And then literally the rest of the year.
They were
was-
3-2 last year
They were
after
3-2
after the Raiders.
After 5
Oh, yeah,
games.
after they went to
They
Vegas.
beat
right.
the Raiders.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like, and that's what I worry about this team now. We're already reaching that point where it could take a turn, and it's just a totally different feeling. Last year, the team had their foot halfway with their foot out the door for Nagy. This year, it's a whole new regimen, and now the losses could start stacking up. Are they going to adhere to the hits philosophy with a losing record? Those are the worries I have going forward.
I think they will. I think they will. I think they buy in the step, but that is kind of miserable to look back at last year. They were 3-2 to 3-7. Then there were the rumors that Nagy was going to get fired, and then they let him coach in the Thanksgiving game against Detroit. They beat the Lions. Nagy acted like they won the Super Bowl, improved to 4-7, and then they lost the next 3 to get to 4-10, and they let him coach to the end of the season for whatever reason. They did that.
because that's what the Bears do. All right, let's go out to New Jersey right now. At MetLife Stadium, he is Nicholas Moreano. He had to endure this game in person in a nice press box. They got a good press box there, though. Nick, what do you got from us post-game? Matt Eberflus, Justin Fields, the whole crew in the locker room. What do you got?
Guys, let's start with Justin Fields because I think he has some words that he's probably going to want to take back again. You think he'd learn from last time? Here it is. He was asked, "Why isn't the passing game working?" Justin goes, "Who said the passing game isn't working?" This is Jason Leisure talking to him. "Who said the passing game isn't working?" And Jason says the numbers. Here's Justin. "Numbers don't matter, I don't think, in my opinion, but as long as we win." It's like one of those things. It's like, well, clearly we all see that the passing game isn't where the Bears want it to be, where they need it to be competitive in this league, and kind of goes in the direction of, well, it doesn't matter how it is, as long as we get the W, that's all that matters. But as soon as he said that, I think all of us collectively who were listening to the press conference were like, oh no, here we go again, another thing that's going to be blown up. And honestly, that's one of those things where, I don't know, you guys, just for me, listening to it, you think you learned from what you just kind of did a week and a half ago, right, with Green Bay and those words. But it seems like one of those things where Justin's going to have to go back and clarify himself on that one.
Are you surprised that he has this defensiveness against the media? I mean, we saw it before the season started, saying guys, that aren't in our locker room don't know, what we're going through. And then the fans comment that he retracted a couple weeks ago, and now this. Are you surprised that he's not more media friendly? Doesn't seem like sometimes when they show him on the sideline, we were joking at the start of the game. It just seems like the frustration is boiling over into the media stuff.
So I wouldn't even say it's like anything with the media. I think it's just having a sense of reality, to be completely honest, you guys. What do you mean, the offense isn't working? Clearly we can all see it. The numbers show it in his passing attempts, the yardage that he's getting, where the Bears rank, statistically in all those categories. So I think for me, it's just getting a sense of reality in terms of where he thinks the offense is. If maybe it isn't a problem in his eyes, he knows. He mentioned throughout the press conference too, it needs to get better. There's a bunch of areas where it needs to get better. He was asked specifically when you guys got into the red zone, what was happening there. He said a lot of stuff, mainly execution. Thought they did a good job of getting into that area, but just again, the execution overall wasn't good enough. He mentioned also in like the blocking that was happening today. He's like, yes, there were some plays where he had all day, and that there were some plays where Justin was able to just see the field. There are other plays where he said, he didn't have enough time, and he said that's also on him on changing the protection. He could do a better job of doing that for his offensive line when they don't give him enough time and he sees something. So there's a bunch of different things going on with this passing offense, but yes, Justin, like again, the numbers don't matter apparently to him.
Nick, how about the decisions from the coaching staff and Matt Eberflus to one, settle for the field goal in the first half on fourth down when they were close to scoring a touchdown, and then also the decision obviously late to punt on fourth down when they were down 8 with 3 timeouts?
Yeah, so let's talk about that last one there where it was 3-3, the punt, and Matt Eberflus called it punt and pin, but defended that call in his opening statement, mentioned, since they were able to get the yards that they wanted from the offense and call those timeouts pretty immediately after that, then they would get the ball at midfield. So he defended the decision making there and what they ultimately did. He called that a successful sequence of plays. And if you get the punt to Bayless, and obviously he muffed it, it didn't turn out his way, but he still called it successful. And how they were game planning it, and just kind of because we're talking about the muff punt and Bayless Jones Jr., he said in his post game press conference that this team's going to rally around Bayless and just kind of bring him up because obviously that's what as a team you're supposed to do. But yeah, he defended that sequence of play calls, you guys.
Nick, did you see Bayless in the locker room?
Yes, but by the time I got to him, I was talking to some of the defensive players and why they couldn't, exactly keep their eyes on Daniel Jones. But he had a bunch of, just the media there talking to him. So I didn't get a chance to hear what he said, but he definitely was in there, and he didn't answer questions, though, after the game.
I apologize for
Well,
sitting here looking like I have a headache, but he called that a successful sequence?
Yeah.
They didn't get the ball back until
doubling down on it.
Yeah,
they didn't.
Sorry, Nick. I know you're just the messenger. Been there many times
It's
myself.
your fault, Nick.
But I feel like OB right now when I just am reporting what
Is that what he said?
what Matt Nagy would say, and then OB would just jump at me.
There's no way he said that.
It's a tough spot to be in, Nick. I get it, but it's like.
But since you talked to
Come on.
the defensive guys about the play action rollout, and that was my biggest gripe. You can say what you want about Fields and the weapons and the O-line, but my biggest gripe was the coaching adjustments or lack thereof within the first half. They made it at halftime, but why couldn't they make that adjustment at the end of the first quarter instead of halftime?
Yeah, no. So he did mention that, like Matt Eberflus, that they were able to make those corrections in the second half. And I asked Matt Eberflus, what makes it so difficult to defend those boot schemes? And when you get a quarterback that is athletic, like Daniel Jones is, what's so difficult about it? And how do you go about correcting it? He just said simply it's execution. That's basically the big thing. But I asked some of the defensive guys in the locker room. I spoke to Nicholas Moreano, like, what's the difficulty in trying to defend something like that? And basically said it's about understanding your run fit. And it's difficult because you don't know when it's coming. So I asked, okay, so how do you get better at that? Repetition, if you see it a couple of different times, and you just have to ultimately make sure you have trust in everybody. So it starts with your eye discipline. That's what he said first. It starts with the eyes. That's where everything starts when it comes to trying to defend one of those types of plays. So talk to Nicholas Moreano, obviously on the second level of defense. And I spoke to Dominic Robinson and on the first level because that's where it kind of starts too. But again, he mentioned alignment, assignment, key, and technique are the big things. And we've heard that before from these Bears defenders on how to, play their positions right. But he mentioned that eye discipline, and they didn't have it today whatsoever. You guys, you saw how many times Daniel Jones was able to walk into the end zone. Both of his touchdown runs essentially were walk-ins because defense is flowing one way and, Daniel Jones going the other way.
See it a couple times. They saw it like 18 times in the first half.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, real quick, Nick, just rewinding back to Fields. Would you say that his frustration was obvious? I mean, was he fighting back, or was he just kind of defensive in the moment that you called out earlier?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say he was overall defensive in his press conference today because I think he was still trying to highlight some of the good things that, were there. Like he was asked about the deep play to Darnell Mooney, just saw a one-on-one matchup, said that they were getting down the field and acknowledged some of the mistakes that he made. But I just think in that instance, when, he was kind of like brought with the Bears offensive passing game not being good, kind of retaliates back like who said it wasn't. So overall though, I wouldn't say he was on edge or was very defensive in his press conference, but that was the one question where, again, you can go hear his answer after this podcast and see for yourself, but it's just one you probably wish he had back.
Yeah, I'm starting to see it now bouncing around Twitter. Josh Friedman mentioned it too. He says, who says the passing game isn't working? Jason said the stats, and then Fields saying the stats don't matter. They do kind of matter a little bit. I mean,
They kind of go hand in hand.
yeah, but my guess is, I'm trying to spin this maybe. I wonder if Justin feels a little bit better how he played today.
I bet he does.
And that might be where he's being defensive about the stats today, because maybe in his mind he's like, okay, I did the things my coaches asked me to do this week to get better at, and so, F the stats. But I'll tell you what, the stats after 4 games
Are as bad as
Not
we've
good.
ever had. And we've had some bad ones.
The Falcons won a game today with 7 passing completions. So the Bears had 8 last week. The Bears started a revolution, I think is what has happened.
Well, scoring is down across the NFL right now for whatever reason.
I don't know.
I mean,
preseason,
the Bears
keep cutting out the preseason.
The Bears
offense
numbers, do stand out.
Nick, we'll let you go. Any other final thoughts from New Jersey?
No, you guys mentioned like how maybe Justin feels that the offense is trending in a better direction, the passing attack at least. That's what Matt Eberflus thought today. He was asked specifically that question: is the passing game looking better? And essentially he said, yes, we got more of those explosive plays. I thought it was interesting that he said, yeah, we got Cole Kmet involved. He had 3 receptions, got him going, and he had a 13-yard completion, a 6-yard completion, and then the final completion went for -3 yards. I don't know if that's necessarily getting your tight end going, but that was something interesting that he said. But if you ask Matt Eberflus, he does think the passing game is trending in the right direction.
Cheers to baby steps. Walk before you run. Hits principle. Did they talk about the final play of the game, Nick? And did you think they were going to get in?
So Justin was asked about it, and he said, yeah, that's just all about outlasting the opponent there. We're all tired, and, you just got to see if you can outlast anybody. But as I was watching that from the press box, you guys, there was no way in hell they were going to get into the end zone eventually with where that ball was going. And Justin took some additional hits on that. I think there were 2 hits he took.
He got popped
Yeah.
on the sideline on that play. It's like, come on, man. Oh. How was
Bears.
Justin, physically after the game? Was he all right?
Yeah, he was asked. He said he felt better this week than he did actually last week. So physically, he's feeling fine. And you kind of bring up the point about taking hits. He acknowledges that he can't continue to take these kind of hits throughout a season, but he also thinks he's doing a better job of protecting himself when he does. But he said if it's 3rd down, I have to go get the 3rd down is essentially how he phrased it. So he's going to put his body on the line. But 1st and 2nd down, he just knows that he could be smart with his decisions. But he said he was feeling better after this game than last week.
All right, Nick. Good stuff. Make sure everyone's following you on Twitter at Nicholas Moreano. He'll have more at allchgo.com from MetLife Stadium. Good work today, buddy. We'll see you when you get back.
All right, you guys. See ya.
There he is. He's just the messenger, guys.
Nick's doing a great job, and we'll see him in studio here on
Nick's
Tuesday.
fault.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Let's just blame Nick. What the hell is he doing out there in New York anyway? Come on, Nick. Should have motivated guys. Should have gone to the hotel in the morning. Should have gotten to Getsy. Tell them, listen, you have nothing to lose. Yeah. Let's be aggressive.
Could have bought them all a Sbarro pizza last night.
Let's get the fan base revved up here.
Yeah.
Let's
fly through these super chats. Get our final thoughts out of the way as we wrap up week 4.
Okay, you go in order, but I can't wait to shout out Richie because. Oh, he's up first? Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Carm.
Well, $10 from Richie. We will get through this together. That's right, Richie. We are all in this, man. We don't know when. We don't know where. We don't know how.
I took the trifecta loss this weekend. You know, we had a poor effort Friday night against St. Pat's. Wisconsin looked like absolute trash yesterday against Illinois. As my entire family was walking around in red in the state of Illinois. Not a good look. And then had to endure this today.
We will all dance again together, not
Right.
Wisconsin, because
Richie, you know, we're building a foundation here at CHGO. I mean, the Bears are, and we are. And right now, it's a low point for all Chicago sports teams. So, you know, we're doing everything we can to make it fun.
If we can get through this, Justin Fields
That's
can
what I'm
too.
saying. If we can keep this fun and entertaining for you guys, wait till, you know, the wine starts tasting sweeter and the teams start playing better. It's only going to keep going up from here. We only have only to go up from here.
And
it's really crappy in Chicago.
Braggs is
right
going to do 10 more shows on his way home tonight, just so tune into Braggs'
now.
Twitter.
Spaces. I'll be in a DM yelling at someone. I'm
All
sure.
right. What do we got up next here? Next super chat says Gar88. Again, are those euros? We have 10
I believe
euros.
he's from Ireland.
Okay, we got. I officially give up on the offense this year. Spelled with a C. Love that. Still believe Justin is the guy, but not enough talent on the O-line or at wide receiver. I'll spell my name phonetically for you guys this week. Garode?
Hey, Garode. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Garode, my friend.
Garode in Ireland. I like it.
I'm
Thank
Irish,
you.
so you'd think I'd be able to, but I don't know what he's saying.
You are Gar.
I had a great time in Howth, Garode. Beautiful city. Did the cliff walk. It was awesome. And I think it was like McInerney or something. I had a great time there, too. Your country's awesome. Thank you.
My only experience in Ireland was when American Airlines lost my luggage on my way to London.
All I know is that never mind. I won't say what I'm going to say. Never mind. Continue on. I had a great time in Ireland doing sidelines. 1-0 Cats at that point.
Dylan, $5 super chat. How do you build Justin Fields' trust if you don't build on the throws or give him a shot on 4th down, or that 3rd and 2 feels like playing scared and safe? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Dylan. That is, yes, exactly. Tom says, Matt Eberflus is coaching like a coward.
Agreed.
It is hurting the team big time. I believe he is the one who neutered this offense to reduce turnovers.
He is conservative, Tom.
They still turned the ball over 3 times today, by the way. Do I have that right? Yes.
Well, they had the Valus.
You had the Valus. You had the last play of the game was technically a turnover. That was number 3.
Okay, and then what's the other
That
one?
doesn't count.
Fields did not throw a pick today.
He lost the fumble. Fields lost the fumble.
Yeah, when did they lose the fumble earlier in the game? Oh, yeah, it was the when they didn't jump on the loose ball.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yep.
Okay.
3 turnovers.
So that's on Fields, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably more on the pass protection.
No, I'm just saying that goes to a fumbled loss from Fields.
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
Yes, that is accurate.
The stats don't matter,
Yeah.
though.
Ethan says for $5, if I'm not wrong, they've gone for it on 4th down once. Chicago Hawkeyes.
Speaking of terrible
Have they gone
college
for it on
teams.
4th down? That's a good question. I have to get the answer to that. It's not good when you can't remember it after 4 games.
I don't think that's right. I'd have to go back. Ethan, you tune in tomorrow at noon. I will double check your work. But I think they
really are they are bringing the Hawkeyes offense into the NFL.
Unless it was in the preseason, but I'm pretty certain that they've gone for it on 4th down.
There was one more comment that I think needs to be shared. Cody says, hits now stands for hi, I totally suck. You know?
Is that Cody?
Come on, Cody.
CHGO Cubs fan?
No.
I know.
It's a different
I know
one,
it's
yeah.
not, but it sounds like something.
Sounds like
Cody
something
say.
he would say. Yeah.
It does.
That would be an interesting question for Flus if Nick would just ask that tomorrow. Hey, Coach, there was a guy by the name of Cody, and he says that hit stands for.
Good point. Is it Jepper OKS or 0KS? Didn't they go for it on 4th down at the goal line and call a shotgun?
Yes.
That was the 4th down where
They
they
did.
up.
They did.
So, unfortunately,
We should have remembered that one.
well, I think we blocked it out for good reason.
Could have been a repressed memory.
We don't want to ever talk about that play ever again.
And to people writing at me on Twitter, I love every single one of you, including you, Sig, who's saying they don't have a prayer, they need more playmakers.
They have a prayer. They do not. They even had a prayer today at the end.
The reality
Thank you
is
to the Graham Gano doink.
Exactly. The reality is they've had a prayer.
They do need playmakers.
And they do need playmakers.
And they
living on a prayer.
Need better quarterback
and
play.
they need better, and they need the quarterback to get better. But I think at the end of the day, as we walk out of here, he did take at least a baby step, maybe even 2 baby steps forward today, in my mind.
I want to see the film.
And then he was drilled by a Giants linebacker.
And then and also 2 factors remain true as we close this out. I think we bring this full circle. The only points the Bears scored today were by a guy signed to the roster officially yesterday, signed to the practice squad Friday.
I might have to split on my grades, which I'll be working on right after the show, because special teams would have gotten an A.
Oh, my God. Special teams was killing it until the last play.
Until the last play of the game.
And then also the Giants didn't have a quarterback at the end. So 12 points to the guy signed Friday. You lost to a team who didn't have a quarterback at the end of the game.
BGDN LSD, I've seen you a bunch today. Appreciate everything you've been doing.
Richie, another super chat. All right, be looking to you guys for the hope then. We're trying. All right, we're out of here. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at the Carm, at GBraggs Jr. 23, at CHGO_Bears. A lot more content at allchgo.com. You can get our initial thoughts as the game was over. Those are posted right now. Nick will have more from New Jersey. Carm will have his grades coming up there soon. Allchgo.com.
Become a member, allchgo.com. Your life will just improve dramatically, and we will appreciate you to the end of the world. Allchgo.com.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We appreciate you. We will be back tomorrow at noon. Corey Wooten
in studio
will help us break it down
and I'll have the After Dark at night.
And we have Bears After Dark tomorrow night. So we have it totally covered on a Bears Monday.
Double header.
That's right. So make sure you're tuned in tomorrow. We will talk to you then. Bye.